We are joined today by Mr. Ashook Rokade, who is the clinical lead and consultant ENT and facial plastic surgeon in Hampshire Hospital's NHS Trust, Winchester. He's also the consultant skull-based surgeon in Wessex Neurology Centre, University Hospital, Southampton. As if that was not enough, he was asked to write the 9th edition to Scott Brown's Endocrine Surgery Rhinology Manual, and that is a privilege. Welcome, Mr. Rokade.
Thank you, Davis, and thank you to Team Unity FM. It's absolute privilege to be here with you and talk about my experience of Hampshire, Southampton as such. It would be a real honor to share all that with you.
Let's get straight into it. Tell us, where were you born? And where did you grow up?
My hometown is Srirampur. So that's where I was born and brought up. This is a small taluka place, a little small town in the state of Maharashtra in western part of India. It is close to Mumbai, Pune to put it into a geographical context. So this town has played a great role shaping me as a person, shaping my career. I think it is worth mentioning a bit of a history of the town, because this town itself was very newly founded. After the First World War, there was a requirement of a sugarcane trade, and that was brought in that area by the British. And a lot of sugar industries were established. So at this place, there was no town before that. But then, because of the new railway connections, they established this town. So it was always founded around 1920s. So this gave an enormous opportunity for people with various skills, careers, and they have established that town. So it has a very unique culture and so very unique opportunities that were presented there.
So your parents would have moved from someplace else to get into that town, or were they born there as well?
No, you're right. My parents were not born in there. They all moved to that area. So almost everybody who came to that town was immigrant in that sense.
Right.
And they picked up that opportunity. Everybody had these new horizons to explore. And that's why it was a happening time.
And you say it's near Mumbai. How far away when we talk geographically? What are we talking?
I think we're talking about 350 kilometers.
All right. Yeah. And did you go to school? So your education was there as well? Your primary education, secondary education, or did you have to get education somewhere else? Did you have to leave?
No, I completed my primary education, then my schooling, and up to the university education in that town. And as I said, that town had all these institutes established.
Right.
All these great institutes, they provided the opportunity. And we are fortunate to have all that. Now, after my college days, then I have to move out. So I have to go to a bigger metro city, which was the nearest city was Pune. Pune is another educational hub of India. There's a lot of good universities and very prestigious colleges were there. So for my medical education, then I had to move over to Pune. So that's where I completed my medical education and further my post-graduation as well.
And what did your parents do?
My parents were in education field. My father was a principal, that's compared to the dean of university college. So he taught philosophy and education. And my mother was a teacher. So the education was in the house. So we had this opportunity to see it all firsthand since childhood.
Did you grow up alone? You have siblings? A big family, small family?
Oh, I do have 2 sisters and a brother. So we 4 of us. And 3 of us ended up becoming doctors. So my 2 other sisters are surgeons as well. And my brother, he's an architect. So he's the kind of only from a different profession.
Did you work when you qualified back in India, back home, or did you leave post-qualification?
So when I finished my, it's a long course, as you know, then it's a graduation, post-graduation, so almost 8 years you are studying. Then after that, it doesn't stop there. So being a doctor is a lifelong learning. So then we have to have a further specialist training. So then I went to Mumbai after completing my graduation, post-graduation, and specialization in Pune. Then in Mumbai, I spent a year doing some cancer work in head and neck surgery in the very prestigious Tata Memorial Hospital, which is in Mumbai. Then it was the only national center in India. And they provided the best care for cancer patients established by the Honorable Tata Trust. So it was a wonderful opportunity to spend a year there learning and serving people with different cancers. And once I finished that, then I had to look for my further developments and career.
Are you the youngest in your family?
Well, I'm in the middle.
You're in the middle.
I had an elder sister. So actually, she was my role model because when she went into medicine, then you naturally follow her. So always followed her. She was ahead of me. So all the books that she had that I came to me, a lot of time I got ready-made notes, exam preparation. So all the help was there at hand. So when she went into medical school, then I followed her into medical school. But apart from her, there are various factors that shape up your ambitions, your dreams, and your aspirations. So I mentioned to you about my Srirampur, my native place.
Yes.
And it's not only the parents. They played a major role in motivating us towards education and always encouraging us. But it is the people around you as well. You see a lot of good doctors around. You see their social standing, how in those days they were revered almost like gods in that sense. Then all that has an impact on you. Then there are also some good institutes. So one of the institutes in the town was a mission hospital. It was established by a German mission. So since childhood, when we visited the hospital, we were in almost awe of the cleanliness, of their dedication, their hard work, their discipline, all that happened there. They had a church attached as well. So all that environment had a big impact. And then that motivated a lot of us to get into medicine.
It's quite important, isn't it? Just based on what you're saying, that level of inspiration, not just about in your family home, but in the community that you grew up in.
Absolutely. Can't agree more. And this is where I would say that the role KLG, Unity, FM 101, they are playing, and like yourselves, about getting people from various walks and putting them out in the community. So all those young kids there growing up, so they get their ideas, they can find their career. So it's all helpful for everybody.
So you have all these experiences, you're qualified. When did you leave and why?
Yes, so as we discussed, I came to a certain point in my career after finishing my graduation, then after specializing and doing 1 year fellowship in Tata. Somewhere within me, I was not content. You always wanted more. So I wanted to explore more, have more training, become a super specialist.
Yes.
And I was looking for the option. And that's where I came across somebody who had returned from the UK as a surgeon, and they were practicing in India. So I came in contact with them. Then I saw the difference in how they conducted their medical practice compared to others. So that was quite impressive. And I thought, this is somebody I would like. And then we had a good sort of rapport. And then he suggested that why don't I consider going to the UK and for advanced surgical training. And that's what my purpose was. Then I looked at that option. And also somewhere my grandmother was actually another motivation, because when she was growing up, she had come across some European surgeons, and she was aware of there is a degree called as FRCS. And she always used to say me, I want my grandson to be FRCS. In those days, I didn't understand what that means. But after being a surgeon, then yes, that became another aspiration. Yes, I would like to go abroad and be like the doctor I admire, treating my patients differently, giving them a very positive experience, and becoming a super specialist. So that was really the motivation. Then I explored the options further, and there was an opportunity within the NHS, the Royal College of Surgeons. So they taken me on board, and they have taken care of my further surgical training.
How old were you at that time?
I think I was in my mid-20s when I decided to come over here.
So quite a lot of influences, positively good role models, influences, but your own desire as well. And would you agree that it took a lot of dedication for you to leave, or was it not a difficult transition for you? You were already working, you felt you were already independent. Were you still living at home in terms of cultural wise, or were you independently working on your own? Did you have a family at that time as well?
I think after my college, I was 17 when I left home, and as such never returned home really after that. Because then I was then studying in Pune, then I was in Mumbai. Okay. So yes, in a way I was used to living independently. And then when I came to UK, then that was another experience. The transition to the getting into the UK from making that decision of the application process, so that was quite a tedious process. It wasn't as easy as that. We had to qualify for certain exams, so preparing for those exams, taking the exams, the English language exam, and then getting all those clearances, then getting accepted by the Royal College. So all that takes time. So it's all this process took around an year. So by the time all that worked out.
And you had to do that when you were in there, before you came across here. The exams was there.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Are you able to tell us your most vivid memories of home?
Yes, lots of memories. And childhood. We all love our childhood. We have beautiful memories of that. But I think what I vividly remember is the gaiety, all the fun, all the festivals, and there is no dearth of it. Because at every point, there is some kind of a festival going around. Some religious, some cultural festivals. And the monsoon, then the Diwali, the Shiraz. In the monsoon, you have a special festival that every Monday. Then all those times, then visiting various temples and join the public gatherings. That was fun. Then some memories of school. Then even the memories of visiting the libraries, because going to the library was a big thing in those days. Because the library was a very big institute in our town, and it was almost cultural that you spend a lot of time in libraries, and we enjoyed that quite a lot. So all those things.
And that's interesting, isn't it? Would you say those are your last memories of home?
No, we go visit because the rest of the family is still there.
Okay.
So we try and go at least once a year, if not more. But the memories of the time before I really came here is one of the vivid memories of when I took my flight, how all of my family, extended family came to see me off. And that still is quite touching. So almost there were 25-30 people came over with us, doing special journey from various places, all the uncles, the aunts, the grandparents, to see me off at the airport in Mumbai. So that was another vivid memory of that. So unforgettable.
So tell us a little bit about that journey then. From Mumbai, what year was that when you left?
So Davis, although it was nearly 25 years ago, it was 31st of January 1997. It was as long as that, but it was yesterday.
Yes.
The memories are still so alive. So I landed on Manchester, one of those cold January mornings with a temperature of almost 0 degree. I never experienced temperature like that before.
Right.
So shivering and getting on the airport. I think I was very fortunate to have a great launch pad for my career as such. I landed in Manchester, and then I was posted near Liverpool. So I had a great support from my supervisors there, my trainers there, and my colleagues. And that really helped me to sort of find my feet around in the UK. It's a very different country, different culture. And things were very different then. Because the simple things like the mobiles were not there. The only thing what you had was your landlines to call home, right. And it wasn't as easy.
So 97 in the winter in Manchester. And tell us about the journey to Southampton. So how long did you stay in Manchester?
I think by the very nature of our training composition, we moved around a bit, because I spent 2 years training there in and around Liverpool.
Okay.
Then after that, we spent some time in South Yorkshire. Then we moved to the Midlands.
So let me just pause you there. Sorry about that. So when you arrived, the training in Manchester was what kind of training? So were you doing different types of training in every area that you were moving into, or you were working and training at the same time? What was that?
So it was working and training at the same time.
Right.
So it was in my specialty, ear, nose and throat.
Okay.
But it was more of advanced training into certain areas. So I always had an interest in being a facial plastic surgeon. And also within the ENT, the rhinology, that means nose and the sinus. So the training was more focused on those areas. So that allowed me to be a super specialist in that area. So 2 years I spent there. And this is where I was single on my own. I was not married until then. And then I had the opportunity to devote all my time that I had in towards my training. So I managed to get all my exams and my degrees underway. So I got my Royal College of Surgeons DLO, and that's one of the diploma degree in our specialty. And then my FRCS were what I was aspiring to be.
Yes.
So managed to get that in that period within the first 18 months. And then the rest of the time, then we could devote to the further career advances.
Are you able to say how it felt when you accomplished that? And what was that like for your family?
Yes, definitely. I mean, it was, so when you get that result, that, okay, you got this, you passed it. Okay. I think what overwhelms you is just a sense of relief, because there's so much effort you have to put in beforehand. So that's your overwhelming is that of relief.
Yes.
But I also felt that how much my grandmother, who wanted it for many years, she would have felt, and she was really happy. And I'm glad that she was still alive to hear that news. So yes, the back home, the parents and my siblings, my grandparents, they're very, very happy.
And I just have this image. I still have this image about the whole family in Mumbai saying goodbye to you. I mean, it sounds like you had a very good base to set off from. And I think it's really important to notice that, isn't it? So, that qualification here making you feel proud. But also you didn't reach to Southampton as yet. You were still somewhere in the Midlands, studying, working, getting the qualifications. What was your next move?
So that's an interesting question. See, in those days, and even now to a certain degree, there were almost like two parallel career and training streams in medical education, because I was completely graduated overseas, and then I came here as a to train.
Yes.
While somebody who is local graduate. So they're parallel career streams. The opportunities were not that easy. You have to work twice the hard. And in those days, it's almost, if you're from overseas, getting into that mainstream, if we say mainstream training and mainstream career,
yes,
it was quite a challenge. Almost for a few years, it was unheard of. The doors were very tightly closed. But that allowed us to focus more on strengthening your own profile, your CV. And when the right time came, over a period of time, in few years, the times changed a bit. The overseas doctors were more accepted into the mainstream training. They had more opportunities. And then we were ready. So when that opportunity came, then I was accepted into the mainstream training schemes. And this is where I moved to Midlands. That all my training happened in the Midlands, which is in Birmingham and the hospitals around it.
Right.
So we spent around a few years in Birmingham after training. And once I finished my training, then my consultant appointment opportunity came in Winchester and Southampton. So that's another happy accident. So there is a story behind it.
Did you meet somebody? Did you get married before that opportunity came down? When you say it was a happy accident, what do you mean?
Well, no. I mean, when I came to the UK, I was single, but within a year, I got married.
Okay.
Okay. So my wife, she was having her medical training in India. She was studying in Mumbai in her final years of her post-graduation. So then my family, I went back and I was married within the first year. But my wife was still studying. So she joined me in 2 years' time.
Yeah.
So she joined me later. So by the time I got into the Midlands, we already were together. We had our son. Yeah.
And you're still just coming down into Winchester, not Southampton as yet. So what's the happy accident? What's that?
Well, I didn't know much about Hampshire.
Right.
Winchester, I probably haven't even heard of that. Knew of Southampton, and that's for mostly because of Titanic, and there's some cruise ships leave from Southampton. That's the only thing I knew about it. Otherwise, it was a far off place. It was almost like a foreign land to me. Then I was one of the medical conference in Boston in the US. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And during the break, we were standing at we just getting our lunch plates, collecting our lunch plates. And I looked behind. So there was somebody standing behind me, and we said hello to each other. And then it turned out he was a surgeon from the UK. So we started talking. So he was a surgeon working in Southampton. And then it just transpired. They are looking for a specialist surgeon in Winchester and in Southampton.
Right.
And that's where he said, "Oh, come and visit us." So invited me to visit here. So when we came back, I didn't pay much attention to it. And then afterwards, when I was in Birmingham, I received a phone call from their secretary inviting me to visit this place. So that's how I came. I visited the place. And the next thing I knew that I was appointed here as a consultant. So it wasn't by accident, and it happened in the US.
It happened in the US. That's an interesting meet and outcome that you from Birmingham, from the Midlands, USA, then down here to Winchester, Hampshire, and Southampton. What year was that?
This was 2010.
2010. And that's when you moved down to Hampshire,
correct.
Winchester.
Correct. So I mainly to Winchester. Again, it was one of the very snowy December winter morning. And this is the first time I drove to Hampshire. And wow, I was in awe of the beauty and the nature of Hampshire.
Yes. So did you work straight away in 2010 when you came down? Was it straight away you and your wife straight away settling down? Or did you sort of have a period of time where you were giving yourself, look, I'm going to settle here. This is my job. What was that process for you like?
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Actually, we're quite hesitant, interestingly, to move down. It's quite a big decision because we moved so much already. You're moving from the country, then we're moving from Northwest to Midlands. So we're quite settled in Midlands as such, because the kids were going to the school there. My wife had a job there. We had a house there. So we decided to take it easy. I said, let me go down there first. I will see how it works out. And as I was here initially on my own, then working around, and then a lot of weekend travels up and down A34.
Wow.
And then once I settled, then we made that definitive decision. Yes, probably this is the place we would like to come and settle. Because, we're quite anxious, because Midlands is quite a cultural place for us. Because there are lots of community, there is a lot of food options, and so all that, we're quite comfortable there. And we had a circle of friends, so moving was not an easy decision.
So what would you say your initial impressions were about Hampshire, Winchester, Southampton? What were your initial impressions?
So as I said, it really, initial impressions were quite positive. Mm-hmm. Although we had certain concerns and reservations because of our comfort level in West Midlands.
Yes.
So when we landed here, I found that it's quite a beautiful place. It's less crowded. We found it very friendly. Then we found the settling down was quite easy. I didn't have any problems. Then I came to know about then we slowly all our reservations melted because we realized, so yeah, we had a Soho Road in Birmingham, but we also have St. Mary's here with lots of the stores and the shop where you don't miss out on any food or anything like that.
And who would you say supported you in those early days?
Initially, when I came to the UK, so certainly my colleagues working in the hospital,
Yes.
then the various friends and my supers, all of them really helped me to settle down and helped us there. Then after coming to Southampton, when we moved to this area, so when I started in Winchester, and when the family moved down here, so very interesting. The kids thought we came on a holiday. Because everything was so nice and green and quiet, and they found, there's not much traffic on the roads. No? Now that had changed now. I mean, it's getting more and more busier.
Yes.
But these are the kind of first impressions they had.
Yes.
And so they're still enjoying their holiday. A bit longer holiday.
A bit long on the holiday.
And in Hampshire, when we came, so slowly we got introduced to various friends, the colleagues.
Right.
And after a year or so, we were introduced to various cultural organizations, the community organizations in Southampton.
Yes.
Like the HPCA, there was an organization called HACA, then there is an organization called SEMP. So all these organizations allowed us to sort of culturally mix with the different communities and participate into various festivals, the programs. So it now slowly very much feels like home.
Yes.
I mentioned about my vivid memories about the festivals in India.
Yes.
Now all those festivals are happening around. So so we're getting back to it. So it's great.
So the transition coming down hasn't been that bad, and in terms of the early experience of the food and the job itself, tell us something a little bit about that.
Yes, the food, as I mentioned to you, coming from West Midlands, we were quite sort of anxious about how is that going to be from the food and all that point of view. But in no time, we got connected to this various area shops. We realized that these things are becoming more and more available, and it's getting better and better. So there are lots of good restaurants, and good thing about it is visiting those restaurants, you become friends with them. So all the restaurants like Sanja's and then all these Bayleaf kitchens and all the lovely restaurants around here. So we don't really miss anything on that part. So food-wise, we're quite good. We're quite settled and happy. The career-wise, it couldn't have been better. It's one of the most fantastic career opportunity that knocked on my door, and
wonderful.
It worked out very well with that happy accident I mentioned to you.
Yes.
I'm able to do all that I wanted to do. I have a very specialist job, although it is a general ENT surgeon. I do the specialist facial plastic surgery, and I had the opportunity. Both the trusts, the Hampshire hospitals and the University of Southampton, are in great support of my career and all the other academic activities that I'm involved in.
Yes.
So they almost take a pride in how we have propelled the services further, developed the name of the department nationally and internationally. And also the timing is a factor. When I was training, there's one of the very new specialty developed within the ENT itself. And I'm not sure whether not many general public will be aware of it. But part of the neurosurgery, there's the brain operations, to say in lay terms, can be done now through the nose. So previously, they have to open the skull, pull the brain behind, and they do those brain operations. But slowly, over a period of time, the technology advanced, the knowledge advanced. And over the last 15 years or so, that we are able to do these operations through the nose using endoscopies and various navigation systems. So the technology evolved, and that really helped us greatly. And luckily, I was there at the right place at the right time. So that gave us an opportunity to train into this and developed specialist skills into that. So we are very proud that in Southampton Hospital is one of the very few national centers to offer these services. We offer the whole most range of it. We are able to get the best state-of-the-art technology into it. So while in operation theaters, you can see it's full of gadgets. We use various 3D monitors, various 4K monitors. Then we also have a surgical navigation technology, which means like a car navigation that tells us that where we are during the surgery.
Wow.
And that allows us to do more complex operations and give better outcomes for our patients. And all this support is here. I don't remember hearing no for any of our shopping list that our however expensive it might be. So say, for example, we wanted 3D technology and it was very expensive. So, but the trust said, okay, we will put out to the charities. So the trust went out to the charities, requested them, and even something as expensive as that we were given. So no reason to complain. And NHS, fantastic. I would really say at this point, this is one of the we are very lucky, very fortunate to have NHS. Yes. And it is duty for all of us to keep the NHS afloat. It is in our interest. Nowhere else in the world such system exists. So although it has its problems, the waiting lists, all the negativity that you read in the media, in the press, but this system, it is in our interest for it to survive. And it has done brilliantly, and I can't really complain about the career. So there are all these opportunities that has thrown to us.
And it sounds, especially in this time, it's refreshing to hear that. It's refreshing to hear those advances. When you think about those early days, is there something that makes you laugh?
Yeah, lots of funny experiences. So when I came to the UK, so there was not much information available. Those were not the days of the internet. So there's very little information about what we are looking to, what's the country like, and what are the facilities, and all those sort of things. Okay. So so a lot of these funny things that you do or you think of. So initially, when I came to the place where I work in, I was expecting a very high rises and the big buildings and all that. So when it landed, I found everything is so miniature, very, very tiny houses, and I'm looking for those high rises, but there's no high rises anywhere. No? So that was funny, and even no idea about what things cost in the shop and all that. So when I first time went into the supermarket, it was quite an overwhelming experience. I said, okay. I don't know, it must be Sainsbury, Asda or something like that. Okay. So I entered into that. So I thought before buying anything, I better check with them, cashier, that whatever the money I have, will I be able to buy these things? Okay. Because I was told, UK is a very expensive country. So I very meekly went to the manager and asked them, I wanted to buy these things, but I just wanted to check that I got enough money with me. I took all the money that I got from India in my pocket. Okay. They said, okay, don't worry. Okay. So how much money do you have? Okay. So I said, I just got 300 pounds. So do you think And he started laughing. So he said, you can do as much shopping as you want. So all those silly things.
Yeah. And I suppose back in those days with 300 pounds. But yeah. Since you arrived, has much changed in this city and with you?
Yes, in many aspects. And it has to change. M3 changing.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think as I mentioned to you, our first impression was also such a less traffic on the roads, and you feel like a holiday. Okay, that is certainly a changing. The traffic is getting busier, the roads are getting busier, but it's still not bad compared to the other parts of the country. Then I think connectivity to London, traveling to London, which is for us, it's also important, going for various meetings and all that. So these changes, these sort of changes we do see. Other things you see that lots of new houses are built up around.
Yes.
And it has where both sides, the people need houses, affordable houses. But at the same time, at some places, it is having some impact on the countryside. So it is a bit of a mixed feelings. So especially going to Winchester and area around it. So it's really a very rapid development of the construction, the houses. But apart from that, there are lots of positive changes. The city of Southampton, as such, there is a lot of cultural infusion is there to say. You see a lot of various activities that are taking place. The various organizations are coming forward organs like ESAC and all that. So they're playing a great role into building up the communities, bringing everybody together, and hosting all these festivals. So it gives a feel of home. Also, you feel more assimilated into the culture and the communities around Southampton. So there's lots of positive changes. Then a lot of changes for me also personally in career. We mentioned about my career from the job perspective or from the surgical perspective, work perspective, but it also added an academic angle to it. So I had an opportunity to join the University of Southampton. So their medical school, I became an ENT lead for the medical school, which was just quite a satisfying experience training the surgeons. I also had an opportunity to be a director of basic ENT courses, which we train other surgeons. So that course has become quite famous now, nationally, internationally. Mm-hmm. So many surgeons from many countries come to us every year, and we are able to train them, giving them specialist training. And not to forget from the COVID.
Yes.
The COVID has changed a lot in every sense. So all those difficult 3 years. But every calamity presents with its opportunity. So it also gave us some opportunity. So we could establish